In addition to performing songs from the Quo back catalogue, including singles and album tracks and live favourites, some Quo tribute bands out there also try and record and occasionally perform their own Quo-styled, infused compositions. And one of the bands, which I've talked about previously, is Dog of Two Head, who back in 2022 released an album called All Aboard, which I wrote about at the time, and I thought what I would do here is read the review that I gave at that moment upon hearing it, my first impressions, and then I'll give you my impressions now after hearing it again after a couple of years. All Aboard is the debut album by the band Dog of Two Head. The group of 4 musicians who tour as a tribute to British rock band Status Quo have recorded an album of original material. The band, at this point, consisted of Rick Abbs on lead and slide guitar, bass, vocals, Christopher Fernihue on rhythm guitar and lead guitar on track 8, Fasker Johnson on bass guitar, and Terry Abbs on drums, percussion and vocals. This album encompasses a smattering of genres, including boogie rock, rockabilly, 1980s guitar rock, and 1990s soft rock. I've listened to this album several times, and All Aboard surprises me at every turn. While some of the tracks evoke the classic sound of Status Quo at their height, others stray outside the zone. All Aboard, the song, is an example of this, an instrumental feast full of hypnotic lead lines, hidden vocal passages, and enough deviation to keep the listener guessing. Anthem is a solid piece of 80s rock that reminds this reviewer of Survivor at their best. It's fair to say every track is a highlight, and they all complement each other beautifully. Don't Tell Me's boogie rock and lyrics fuse nicely with Bittersweet's almost Britpop vibe. I saw this band recently at the Status Quo fan club convention and was blown away by their solid renditions of Frantic 4 classics. During their set, they played 2 tracks from this album, Fool and Straight Through the Middle. These songs really pack a punch and have stuck in my head since that evening. Fool, in particular, has a catchy, chugging rhythm coupled with a Buddy Holly-type vocal hook that is incredibly pleasing. Both songs translate to record extremely well and will remain in music rotation for me for years to come. So in conclusion, what is clear from listening to this album is that the songwriters experimented with their influences and tried to push the envelope further. The band delivered tight performances with enough light and shade. This is an album that will please their Quo fan base, but also entice rock music fans to give them a try. All Aboard is available to stream on Spotify and all music platforms. The track listing is as follows: Working Girl, I Sold My Soul, 21st Century Rock and Roll, which is an absolute belter, Without Love, Don't Tell Me, Bittersweet, All Aboard, Anthem, Fool, and Straight Through the Middle. Now, beyond my original review, I listened to this again recently, and I must say it's grown on me even more. It's got such a punch to the production. It's not over-polished, it's just kind of, somewhere between raw and polished. It's just absolutely perfect. The band are still out there under a slightly different lineup, but this CD, I believe, is still being sold. You can buy it at gigs, or certainly you could the last time I knew. But the album, as I say, is available on music platforms if you fancy going and having a listen. So yeah, have you heard this album? What did you make of it? Let me know in the comments below.